अब स्टूडेंट्स कुछ बात करेंगे अबाउट द प्रोसेस ऑफ कोडिंग। स्टूडेंट्स, मैंने आपको बताया था कि व्हेन वी एम्प्लॉय अ कोडिंग स्कीम, व्हाट वी आर एसेंशियली डूइंग इज वी आर एडिंग redundancy. We are adding redundant bits at the sending end, and we are looking at those redundant bits, and we are using them to detect or correct the errors. Students, this coding scheme, what it does is it actually, at the sending end, it allows us to add some redundant bits by creating a relationship between these redundant bits or the additional bits that we are adding and the original data bits that we need to send. I will pause here and I'll explain this to you because this is an important concept. So when you add redundancy for error correction and detection, what you are essentially doing is you are adding some extra bits in there. We call these redundant bits. These extra bits are added into your original data or the data bits that you are sending in a particular relationship. अब आगे जाके देखेंगे कि we will in some cases we will do an exclusive or between our original data and these redundant bits. In some cases we will simply append these additional bits at the end of the data message or the data bits before we send the packet or the byte or the character over from the sending end to the receiver. But essentially this particular relationship is what the sender creates. And this relationship between the redundant bits and the data bits is what the receiver uses to detect those errors. Ek exclusive OR between our data word, original data that you need to send, and the redundant bits that you create at the sending end. This is going to be verified, or this is going to be confirmed at the receiver. And if the result is appropriate, and we will talk about what appropriate means, then the receiver would know that there is no error. If this result is not as per receiver's expectations or as per the agreed format of the redundancy pattern that we are adding, then we just discard that data, or we try to fix or correct the errors, or we ask for the retransmission of data. So students, this ratio of redundant bits to the data bits and the robustness of this redundancy creation and checking process, it actually depends, or this is what the coding scheme or any coding scheme depends on. We need to find out the efficiency of a coding scheme, go and find out how many redundant bits can ensure a robust error detection and correction. And the minimum the number of redundancy bits is, the more efficient our coding scheme is, because it is actually preserving our data rate. It is not requiring us to use extra bandwidth because we are sending extra bits with our data. So the ratio of these redundant bits to the data bits, as well as how good the process is of creating that relationship between the original data and the redundant bits, that decides on how efficient our coding scheme is.